Hey guys, welcome to another Walking Dead action figure review. This time I'm reviewing the Series 3, Comic Series 3, Andrea figure. And it's by McFarlane Toys, of course, and they make sure you know that. Then that's Skybound and Image, all the little logos that they need. 13 plus, yeah, taking a look at the packaging here. I own Rick here, and I own her, especially since I'm reviewing her right now, you definitely know that. But these two I've yet to get. I mean, I've used Dwight as a custom before because the Dwight figure sucks, but I don't actually own one currently, so I can't review him. I will review him in the future, though. Punk Rock Zombie, I wish I had. Totally passed up on that one. Okay, that's pretty much all I can say for the packaging. It's rather nice. I like the background that's behind her. I like how they put walkers in every inch that they can, like walker hands and stuff. Okay, let's crack her open. I find it weird that they don't do what usual figures do and like give a description of the character on the back. I kind of like when they do that because then it gives me something to read. Okie doke. Let's pull out Andrea here, and she's got a beautiful plastic prison here. Oh boy. And of course she has ties holding her in. There we go. More like that crap rubber stuff that keeps bugging me. Oh man, I left my knife over there. Good thing I have scissors. Seems more efficient for the job anyway. Perfect. Okay. So let's free her from her plastic bubble. Very nice. She was in a weird position in there if you didn't notice. I'm not sure what that was all about. I hope her legs aren't going to break on me. That would suck, because if you buy something at a Comic-Con, you can't necessarily just return it. Especially after a bunch of months. But, you know, I got her for $10, so I think that's a pretty good price. Especially since she's probably going for like about $20 on eBay. And then you'd also have to pay shipping, whereas I got her for $10 no shipping because I was there. Yep, I actually got quite a few good deals at that Comic-Con, which you'll slowly see as I put out more videos. Let me get the scissors back over here so I can free her weapons. They put more tape on this one than usual. Look at that. Surrounds it in a full 360 position there. It's ridiculous. Okay, tiny knife. This is the knife that came with the governor, which is, again, kind of cheap. They're always reusing weapons. How much does it cost just to sculpt something slightly different so we can get something different with her? I don't know. Maybe if they did that and resculpted everything, we'd only get like 1 or 2 accessories with her, whereas here we get 3. Okay, now let me free her rifle. And by the way, this rifle we've seen with many other action figures. I believe the Andrea figure from the TV show, that was TV show series of figures, probably 4? Yeah, series 4. And we also saw this with Dale recently. We've seen this with her. So, I'm trying to think. Also Rick, yeah, Series 2 and Series 4 Walgreens exclusive. So, this rifle is definitely one of the most common weapons you're ever going to see. I think I own like 5 or 6 of them now. But it really is accurate to give her this because that's really her weapon. So, I can't complain with it coming with her. However, it coming with, like, Rick, I know he used it in a few episodes in those earlier seasons, but it really didn't seem like we should have gotten that. Especially since they made the whole figure based around that. But anyway, moving on. Yeah, this is a nice figure. First, let's take a look at the paint, then the sculpt, then we'll do articulation, and I'll show you how she sits in vehicles, which I love to do. Weird piece here. I'm afraid that might be broken. Nope. Okay. Let's get a look at her face in HD quality, which my camera should be showing a lot more. Should be showing that a lot easier than it is. Come on. Okay, whatever. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Not bad, eh? She's got the scar on her face, which she got at the prison, I believe. Wasn't that some sort of weird child molester or murderer or something? Ended up slicing her face up. That was messed up. I think her eyebrows may be a bit too thick. But again, since I'm a customizer, that's not much of a problem. I can always change that stuff up. Like, it seems to me that she could look better with different painted eyebrows there. But yeah, I think that actually looks like the comic character. I think that's pretty cool. She's got 2 strands of hair hanging down her face. That's pretty cool. And then the back, we've got a nice ponytail. And I like the paint of the hair. It's got a dirty blonde look where, like, they put a dark wash inside that goes into each of all the little creases and really shows off the sculpt of the hair. Then sort of a drier brush type blonde color over that. So yeah, that works perfectly. Her lips actually are pretty on line. Her eyes are fairly good. They're a bit big, but she is based off of a comic book character, and characters from comic books always have big eyes, so I don't really complain about that. Oi. Well, that's not really a breaking thing. I'm not sure if I should complain about that. Let me pop that back on, and now let's take a look at her shirt here. It's got a nice tank top sculpt. Yeah. That's nice. Okay, now gloves look very glovey. I have a bit of a problem with the way these hands are sculpted, though. It seems a bit flat. The way you yeah, it just seems something is off so that it doesn't hold too well, and then where it meets at the hand or at the wrist makes it for a weird twist articulation. I'm not quite sure why that does that. Okay, now got her belly button there. That looks pretty good. You can see like her bones on her thighs there, they're sticking out. She's awfully skinny. Then they actually do have back detail, like people actually have little dimples in their back there, and they got that. Pants look good, and she has this nice extra piece of plastic that sort of covers up her joint look there, which they didn't do with many figures, I believe. Let me take a look here. Yeah, like this Rick here, you can see these joints plain as day, whereas on her, it's covered up by the pockets. I like that. Makes it so it doesn't ruin the whole aesthetic of the buttocks. Nice belt in there. This area right here is well sculpted. It's got all sorts of scratches and wrinkles and belt pieces. It's just like all the detail that you could think of they put in there. And it's got a nice holster here. And that has, I think, a very tight loop that opens up. There you go. And that's where the pistol will go in. Then there's the knife holster. It has 2 buttons, both sculpted and painted in there. 4 buttons. Very nice. And then around the legs, nice shoes and boots. Rips everywhere. She's got treads at the bottom, but doesn't go up to like the toe area. Yeah, so the sculpt there is definitely solid. That's perfect. Of course, the plastic that they chose for the joints is weird. They chose a gray plastic for that, so it like matches her shirt, but not her skin tone. It definitely makes for an awkward joint position. I'm not sure why they did that. They did that on all of her arm joints. Why gray? Why not skin color? They've done that before. Yeah. This Rick right here, he's got skin colored joints that don't look all that bad. Even on the shirt, it sort of matches. Whereas with her, gray. No idea. Okay, now let's take a look at let's see, I've taken a look at Sculpt. The paint is nice. It's got dirty colors in there. I don't know if I've mentioned the paint. It's got nice green pants. Little gold details in here as well as silver, and then the red blood up here. Not too much blood, which is what I like. I don't really like when there's a ton of blood all over them. Only the few places where there should be blood. Like, there should be blood on the feet, and it looks like there's some, what you could think is like blood that's been washed off. It's like a rusty color on her pant leg, and then her hands, which that should have blood on it if you've been killing walkers and stuff. It's got blood all over there. It looks like very glistening. Then here's the pistol in her hand. I'll look at the articulation at the last thing, I suppose. Yeah, that looks nice. So the pistol fits. That's definitely a good thing. Rarely do we get a figure that actually has its weapons fit in its hands. that's something McFarlane has trouble with. Left hand works with it as well, and now let's take a look at the holster. It fits in like a glove. Amazing. You make everyone proud. Look at you. That looks really nice too. Okay, now we got the knife. It's got the regular paint on it. Silver here, silver at the bottom, and then black in the middle. Looks exactly like the governor's knife. But what do you know? And this figure did come out after the governor, so it is a reuse of the governor's knife. But it fits in its sheath well. And it's kind of tiny, so I don't think it'll fit in either of her hands. No. Nope. Kind of. Well, she holds it. It's official. It fits. Ish. It's loosely in there, but look at that. Not many figures can actually hold their knife and a gun. Usually that means that their hands would be too tight so that they can hold on to their tiny knives that they make. Why does McFarlane make such tiny knives? I'm pretty sure that knives tend to be bigger than a finger. I mean, they've got it like, let's take a look here. See, that just doesn't seem like a very long knife. Yeah, I suppose there are knives that are that length, but it just doesn't make for a good figure piece. And then this stupid strap on this gun just came right out. It's not broken. It's just got, I guess that's supposed to be glued normally. And it's not. You can see the hole that it enters in. It's got very basic paint on the gun. It definitely is the same as all the other guns that we've seen. Let me see if I can just grab one for an example. Here we go. And it is painted differently from a regular one of these, so you can tell the difference. See? Here's the comic one, here's the other one. And then if this came with a black and white figure, you couldn't actually tell the difference because it's so dark it looks like it could just be a black and white gun. Especially it's got just the slightest tint of brown, and that's usually what they do with their black and white figures. There's some silver added to like here for scuffage on the scope. Looks like there's also some on the barrel. You can sort of make that out. And then just a dirty wash over a dark brown for the rest. Strap is made out of a rubbery-ish type harder plastic. If it was rubbery, that would probably be better. But here's the main problem here. No way is she going to get in a sniper pose for a few factors here. The articulation and the way the hands work. They're just not big enough to hold the weapon, as well as the articulation isn't made for holding it to her eye. Which kind of sucks because Andrea is their sniper. She's like Sasha in the new TV show. She's the sniper there, and now in the comics, Andrea's our sniper. But, you know, yeah, that's not going to work. She can hold it in a way that looks like she's just posed, not to shoot, but to hold it. Yeah, she can hold it double-handedly here. And then if the strap worked, I could strap it over her back, but it came out of the package kind of broken. But even though there are some gripes for this figure, so far it's definitely a great figure. Especially compared to other female figures where the articulation isn't good, or the face sculpt is horrible, or the paint is horrible. Yeah. So now let's take a quick look at the articulation. Let's start at the head. Head can do great head pivot. It can't move 360. It can turn, because of the ponytail, it can turn this much and this much. It can look up quite a bit. Surprisingly, the ponytail doesn't restrict too much, but it does feel like it's kind of loose and might break off in the future. And then it can look down a fair amount. Looks like she's looking at her shoes. Okay, now she can bring her arm up to about a right angle on both sides. That's nice. Full 360 at the shoulder. And then we've got spin at the elbow, as well as up and down motion. It can go up to about 90 degrees. Yeah. And then it's got two different points of spinning. It can go 360 this part and then this part. And then she can do the rolling dice pose or the scratching at a wall pose, which is nice. And then same on both arms, almost exactly the same. Then she has great swivel, although it does come off fairly easily. That's probably just mine though. I'm not sure if anyone else has that problem ever, but that's just me. But she can do a full 360 at the waist, so whatever you want to do with that. No crunch at the abs or anything, but that's not expected with a Walking Dead figure, except for a few figures have had that. She can kick up quite a bit. Her waist popped off again. She can kick up an amazing amount, but then her waist might pop off. Looks like she's going to kick something. Let me grab someone for her to kick. I love to have people kick stuff. But I just need the perfect guinea pig for this kicking. Where the heck are my... There we go. Okay, how well can she kick? First off, let's take a nice, good look at what we're going to do here. Let's get him some balance here. Okay, ready? Yeah! That's fairly nice. And then now let's take a look at the to the side kick. Once I pop this back together. But I gotta say, for customizing, the fact that she pulls apart so easily is actually a pretty good thing. Some of you may be shocked by that. Now that same leg can kick forward, not so much. Let's take a look. Oh wait, I think I already showed kicking forward. To the side, not so much though. Yeah, there she can do a roundhouse kick into his face, and then the other leg can do a kick to the balls from the looks of it. Okay, yeah, there we go. And now let's pull him back up. Oh, he's looking a little woozy. Nope, nope, you have to stay there. We're not done with you yet. And she can kick up like that. And then a kick to the face, and then a kick off to the side. Perfect. She's really awesome for doing that. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, she can not do splits too well, mainly because of this gun here. It's restricting the articulation. And the first problem I have with the way they did it is this part here is an extra flap that hangs over her leg, which normally wouldn't do that, and it causes for pushing the gun off. Strange. And then at the knee she can bend to almost 90 degrees. She can do a full 360 at the knee. And then her ankles do have articulation, moves side to side quite a bit. And then it's got some ankle pivot, which is actually really good for figures, but she can barely do it, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Both legs can do it pretty much the same. Now let's see if she can do the sit-down challenge. Oh yeah. Let's bring the driver's side this way. Now, we do know that trying to get her in a sit-down pose can pop her top off, but let's hope that doesn't happen. Okay. Fit her in there. Looking nice so far. Yep. And, oh yeah, she can drive. She can be the driver to Rick's passenger, because we know the Rick figure that came out with that comic series can't actually sit down all that well and look like he's driving. So let's just put him in the passenger side, and he'll be really happy just to be with her. Especially since she's such a great figure. I'd highly recommend her, guys. If you're a fan of the comics or the TV show alone, she's great for either. If you collect the TV show figures but refuse to collect comic book figures, get her, because at least you could just pretend that she's someone else, right? She could be Jessie, she could be TV show Andrea. She's much better than that figure. Just pretend she's that. She's a great figure, and she is a perfect bookend to my Rick figure here, and I highly recommend her. Let's get a nice stump over that shoulder there. There we go. Oh, what a family. If only I had Comic Book Carl to put beside them. Stick around for a review of Comic Book Carl, which will probably be coming out 5 years from now when I finally get it. Okay, see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys then. Peace.